thank you again for joining the Falling for Learning podcast. I'm your host, TD Flenaugh, and today we have a guest. His name is Derek Halliburton, and we're going to talk to him today about his entrepreneurship and about his journey as a father of many, and his book that he has that discusses 46 moral attributes. So we're glad to have him and glean some of his wisdom today. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Halliburton.
You're welcome. It's an honor to be here. Thank you so much for the invitation. How are you today?
Doing good. Yeah, doing good.
It's an honor meeting you, and thank you for the invitation once again.
Yes, yes. I met Mr. Halliburton. He was telling us about his book. Me and my aunt were out, and we saw Mr. Halliburton. He was telling us about his book, and I thought it was just a great way of, promoting his book and also giving some resources and information to parents out there. So can you start with your book? Tell us the title of your book and what it's about.
The title of my book is Rolling Energy Good Life, the 46 Moral Attributes, and it's predicated on the word good. So at one point, this was like maybe 8 years ago, I put together a chart, and the chart had the 46 moral attributes, and it was a 90-day challenge.
Okay.
It was for people to take each word, look it up in a dictionary, also look it up in the scriptures, and then all memorize it.
Okay, so let me stop for a second. So it was a 90-day challenge for who? Were people in your family, or who were the people who were doing this 90-day challenge?
It was international.
Okay, cool. So on social media or your website?
Social media.
Okay, cool. All right.
And so, and then I would tell people that was kind of like my friends, colleagues, or whatever, because their children, they was a part of it. And I would tell them if they would take the chart and read it 7 times with the child, and then have the child write it once, and then read it again, and then all 46 words would be locked in their mind.
Okay. Can you tell us where you got the 46 moral attributes from? Like, where'd you get them from?
The Synonym Finder by Jay I Rodale.
Okay. The Synonym Finder by Jay I Rodale.
Right.
Okay, cool.
Book about this thick.
Okay.
I'm gonna just say this, that most people say that we're not perfect, right? The word perfect. So when you look in the Synonym Finder by Jay I Rodale, it has over 100 synonyms to the word perfect. And when you read it, you'll see that you're perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I like that idea that we are perfect, and thinking about that is a different way of thinking about things. But what about us being human? Like, we make mistakes. So how is that not perfect? I mean, how is that perfect if we are making mistakes?
Because it's perfectly made.
Okay, so we're perfectly made, but we may not have perfect actions.
No, everything, watch this. If you do something wrong, you perfectly did it wrong. If you do something right, you perfectly did it right. See, most people, when you study in the etymology of words, the nature of words, they said practice makes what?
Perfect.
It's actually perfect practice makes perfect. See, but we was never taught to study the etymology of words. So when you study perfect, you'll find out in Matthew 5:48, it says, "Be ye perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect."
Okay. All right, well, let's go back to the book. We have our 46 moral attributes. You had a 90-day challenge about 8 years ago. Were you on Facebook? Were you on Instagram? What were you on doing that 90-day challenge?
Facebook.
Facebook, okay. And
And
go ahead.
also, I was hosting not a podcast, but like an international conference call. So a lot of how we're sharing the information too was via this conference call as well.
Okay.
Mhm.
So the conference call happened on a regular basis, or was just that one time?
I was regular
Okay. All right. Cool. So what was the regular? They met every Monday. When did they meet?
from 10 to 2, Monday through Friday,
Okay. On every day.
5 days a week, free.
Wow. Wow.
No donation
Okay.
for 7 years.
You've been still doing it for 7 years.
Did it for seven
You did
years.
it for 7 years. Okay. Did you have a name for your like group that you were meeting, or you guys just got on? You didn't have
Uh,
like a name for the group.
yeah, it was actually it was called Yahweh's Noonday Traffic Jam.
Yahweh's Noonday Traffic Jam. Okay.
Yeah,
And that was led by you or by other people or by a group of people.
group of people all over the.
Okay.
We network in Cape Town, Johannesburg, Israel, Dimona, Saudi Arabia, Ghana, Nigeria, Liberia, Kenya, and here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Impressive. So
Uh,
that has come to an end. And now we have 8 years later where you're now doing, you have this book.
mhm.
And we can find, where can we get the book?
The book right now is on Amazon. It's in Barnes and Noble.
Okay.
It's on Lulu. It's on Book Read. It's on Read Shop. It's on a whole. If you Google, it's a whole lot. It's
Okay.
all.
So we'll put it in we'll put a link to where we can get your book in on our summary. So you will be able, the viewers will be able to see it and get it as well as our listeners. Okay. So we have these 46 moral attributes. And one way you're saying to use it is to teach the children the words and to have them like 7 times review the words so they could commit it to memory. What other ways? Go ahead.
Write it once. After going over it, write it once. But I'm just saying, the more they do it, the more they get familiar with it. But I'm saying if they do it in one good session, they
Hmm.
they can have it just like that.
Okay. So tell us how you use it with your children.
Uh, how I use it is to exercise the power of the words, and by being an example of what I share.
Okay.
That's they see it. They see what me exhibiting righteous, just, upright, honest, straightforward, all those things. That's what they see their father really been doing and working at. And I would say, um, pretty much most of my life.
Okay. Cool. So we were speaking earlier, you were saying you're a father of many, like Abraham. You have some biological children as well as children that you have
Okay.
worked with raising, and have adopted as your own, even though they may not be biological. And so can you tell us a little bit more about your family makeup over the years?
I'd say, with my family, are very well versed in terms of entrepreneurship, and then also I have children that are in the entertainment world.
Okay, cool. And you are really showing them through modeling of your own self, being an example, how they should conduct themselves in the world. And what I thought was really important for us to like talk to our parents about, because we do talk to them about academics, getting our children's academics on point, But another really important thing about it, about when we're supporting our children, is thinking about how we can make sure that they're, living a good life. As you have rolling hills, it's rolling energy, 46 moral attributes. You have good life in there. So it's really important that they are, not just have the academic information, but also that character building, that they know how to conduct themselves and to treat people well, and again, have a good life. So that's also important about keeping our kids on track for success.
Yes, absolutely. And really, taking time out to make sure that the knowledge is, being dispensed to their mind, because there's so much going on in the world
Hmm.
that it's like people live in the same house and be texting each other.
Yes.
Or if you go out to dinner, everybody in their phone. So again, it's kind of like we got to change the vernacular in terms of really making sure that we are the captains of the ship in terms of what they learn, and not depending on just the system to get.
Absolutely.
They're not they're not going to give it to them like I'm giving it to them, because with my children, I had them reading the Robert Rules of Order. Are you familiar with that?
Say it again.
The Robert Rules of Order.
Robert rules
Rule
of rules of
Order.
order. I haven't heard of it. I'm gonna write it down. I'm
Yeah,
gonna look it up.
it's a book that breaks down the system of corporation, how the corporation structure is. So what I would do with my children, we would have a biblical set uh, times set aside
Okay.
to do that, and then we would role play business, where I would have them in suit and ties with briefcase, and then at some point I had them telemark. They said, Abba, we've been on the phone for 3 months and we ain't made a cracking penny. I said, but you'll see. And they mastered communication. Oh my goodness. So I'm saying that to say that I always taught. Oh, I had one of my daughters when she was younger. She she had a problem with reading. She was only 6.
Hmm.
So we all would read together. And I
Right.
explained to them that if someone has a, a disability of reading, you all read together until they get it. And so my
Yes.
6, she was crying, and I told her, I said, all right, everybody stop, and we're going to read slow together. And I said, even if you don't understand the words, just do that. Said the words to catch up with you. So everybody started laughing. So now, college grad, she graduated from college.
Hmm.
Mm, was 19, yeah. She got out of high school at 17.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So anyway,
Yeah.
that was part of some of
Yeah.
I
We
said.
definitely align. This is why I wanted you to be on our podcast, because we want to make sure that parents are not relying on a system to steer the ship, because sometimes things go awry. Teachers might get sick. They may have a brand new teacher, doesn't know what they're doing. All kinds of things are happening. A teacher that's about to retire, that, whatever happens. And we have to make sure our children are on track for learning. Parents are the first teachers and the continuous teacher. And thank you so much, Mr. Um, Halliburton, for pointing that out. Yeah, and giving us a really clear illustration. Your child's behind on reading. You're not waiting for the teacher to get it together. You're like, okay, let's do it together. Even though it might be challenging, and just stick with it with the child at home. Of course, good, good, good. And the Robert Rules of Order, that's really good. Thinking about that corporate structure. because a lot of times we think about the education and we don't think about afterward. Like, are they going to be entrepreneurs? How are we going to help prepare them for the job market, or again, starting their own jobs, their entrepreneur, their own businesses. And that brings me to you. You're saying that you have several different businesses. And can you tell us about some of your businesses you've had in the past?
Oh yeah. Okay. I want to add this too
Yes, please do.
for the parents. I never talked about my children getting a job.
Mm,
Never. I always said, you're the boss. You're the employer, not the employee. I say, matter of
okay.
fact, you're the employer that helped the employees become employers. So that's how we teach, you know? And then also I put the book in their hand, which is entitled Think and Grow Rich by the
Oh,
book.
okay. Yes.
So I have a grandson that's 6 years old. I pay him to read a chapter. I reward him, right? He was reading, he said, millionaire. He said, millionaire? I'm not a millionaire. I'm a billionaire. I said, no, you're not. You're I said, you're a quadrillionaire. I
All
said,
right.
did you know in a quadrillion is 9 sets of threes? He said, it is? I said, yeah, I'm going to show it. So I showed it to him. So now I say, what are you? He said, I'm a quadrillionaire. I say, how many sets of threes in a quadrillion? 9. So this is how, and I tell him, he's my business partner.
All
I,
right.
I say, you see this car we riding in? I say, this 300 Mercedes C is is half yours. He said, but what about when I tell somebody I have a vehicle? I say, tell them you have a chauffeur too. That's how we talk. I'm just saying.
Yes, yes. So really, really helping them think of themselves as a boss, helping them think about businesses. Wonderful. So how are some ways that you have integrated your children into the business? So we hear you about reading and helping pay for him to read certain chapters so that he can be motivated to continue to read and learn.
Mhm.
What are some ways that you've some actions or things or tasks that they do that integrate them into the business?
Uh, believe it or not, uh, I've had an older child tell me, Albert, that's your business. Even with my books. So it's like it's just like everything with me is in divine order, just like how I met you. So when I create things for my children to be involved, they said, look, I'm creating my own. I said, okay. So if anything that they're getting out of me, they're getting out of me the discipline, they're getting out of me the respect.
Right.
Okay. My children never heard me argue with their mother at all.
Okay.
Curse, argue, none of that. I know who did that. The creator did that. I know who blessed me. I put it like this: when I was 7 years old, I said, God, whoever you are, I said, would you please bless me with a whole bunch of children? And if you hear me, I said, whistle. And a horn, as soon as I said whistle, a horn went, bah. I said, woo. So I ran, and I told my big mama, I said, big mama, I said, I was praying to the Lord because they used to always have me put my hand on people's head as a child and pray for them. Okay.
Okay.
So she was excited to hear my story. I was like, Big Mama, I said, I was praying and I was saying, Lord, I want to have as many children as I can have. And I said, if you hear me whistle and the horn went bump, As soon as I said it again, a horn did it again. At the same time, she said, "You're gonna have a lot of children."
All
All,
right.
all that to say again, that's where the expansion of it went in terms of not looking at the biological part, because
Right.
that what really counts spiritually is just spiritual. That's why
Mm-hmm.
spiritually it say for those who are spiritual, it says those who do the will of my Father,
Mm-hmm.
sisters, and it can be true.
Yeah. So how many kids have you raised over the years?
Over 22,
Wow.
and still, but see, all them children that I've met over in Ghana,
Mm-hmm.
Nigeria, Kenya, Israel, those are my family too. Those are my children too. I teach
Yeah.
them. You know,
Yeah.
buy books, Queen. I also buy cases of books and give them out for free.
Okay.
And for those who are open, I share with them how to use it, just such as the synonym finder that I mentioned to you about. Also, the title, Rolling Energy. Would you like to hear where that came from?
Yes, please tell us.
I heard someone say years ago, the creator said he'll meet you in Galilee. I said, Galilee. So I opened up all these biblical tools. So I
Mm-hmm.
study in scholarly. So I got to what's called a metaphysical Bible dictionary by Charles C. Fillmore. By Charles C. Fillmore. And on page 7, I was getting ready to go into the G section. On page 7, it said in parentheses, Galilee means rolling energy. So I took it and trademarked it.
Okay. Cool. All right.
So
So you have, you told us about uh one of your you were telling me earlier about like you had a limousine service.
yes, ma'am.
Okay. How many years did you do that business?
7.
Okay. All right. And how many like limousines did you have, or what can you tell us about that business?
It was good. For the time that I was doing it, I had 4 vehicles. Um, I worked for a lot of other people before I got into the business, and was blessed to have a partner that saw my work ethics. Because at
Mhm.
first to get into it, I thought about it, but I seen how some people were being treated, and I said I would never want to. So my business partner encouraged me, invested in me to do it, and it went good for those particular years. Uh, Kim Whitley, the comedian, was one of my first clients.
Okay.
Yeah, uh, I've had quite a few celebrity, what they call celebrity clients. It ran well.
Mm-hmm. Nice. And can you tell us about you had a beauty salon, you said, a hair salon?
Yes, I had a hair salon back in from 1995 to 2000.
Okay. How many like hairstylists were in the shop? You or about average or
It was a 10-chair hair salon.
okay.
Blessed. That was a blessing too.
Yeah. And what area was that in?
That was in LA, in the Wilshire area.
Okay, cool. All right.
Uh,
Did
One,
you go ahead?
I was gonna say one of the clients, one of my first clients up in there was Lisa Ray.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's
So
like
what
it seemed like everything I've done has been blessed.
that's wonderful. And what made you start that job, that business?
Uh I sing too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I was singing with someone, background for someone, and one of the background singers was someone that I kind of got close to, and she was a hairstylist. And so I was speaking to her about, getting her mind acclimated to being a boss. I said, why don't you picture yourself being an owner?
Mm-hmm.
3 days later, a salon opened up and she borrowed $5,000 and got that 10-chair salon with everything in it. Few days go by, something happened where I don't know what was going on, but something happened. And she
Mm-hmm.
came to me and asked me, could I put everything in my name?
Mm. Okay.
And how celebrities end up coming. When we first got, I said, you got to picture the salon being, celebrity based and all that kind of stuff.
Right. Uh-huh.
He said, why you say that? I said, because we starting with ourselves. And then for you know it, as time went on, I met a gentleman that needed some help at another salon that was doing celebrity. It's like soon as you walk in the salon, it was called SOS. Soon as you walk in the salon, nothing but celebrities. I mean, from singing, acting, rap
Mm-hmm.
cases, right?
Wow.
I would go in there. It's like I would go in there because I started selling hair products. That's a whole it's like all these different blessings that came.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just say this. I would let people come in. It was only two people working in there at the time. My significant other at that time, her friend. And so people would come in dressed in tennis shoes and jeans. And I would say, you know what? I would like to sell products, but be in a suit and tie, right?
Yeah.
Next thing you know, a gentleman came in from San Diego named Robert Taylor, who owns his own line. And I got to talking to him. He said, hey, man, you all right? I like you, man. You good, brother. You got a good spirit. He said, how would you like to have my route? After him explaining to me about all his products, right?
Right.
He told me he came from San Diego and he come up every 3 weeks, every
Mm.
2 brother. And
Right.
he asked me, how would I like to have his route? Right? So
Mm-hmm.
anyway, I ended up taking his route, 33 salons that I'm servicing. And I happened to go over to this SOS
Mm-hmm.
because now people don't know I own the salon. I'm not broadcasting that, but
Right.
people are right down the street from me, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
and this gentleman comes up to me and he says, are you the brother that owns the salon over there in the shopping center area? I said, why, sir? And he said, I'd like to come and talk to you. So my point, make a long story short, he came, talked to me, told me he had an issue down there. Could he come? And when he came, I let him come to my salon and
Mm-hmm.
he brought 5 people with him.
Wow. Was a come up for you.
He brought 5 people with him, right?
Mm-hmm.
When he brought them 5 people, I was like, what the? I didn't know who he was. Him and his brother was real popular in the hair care, right?
Right. Right.
I, so the next few days, I go around the corner to this other place, Simply Raw, on Wilshire. I
Mm-hmm.
walk in, and this gentleman who I know, he said, "Hey, Abraham, man, thank you for letting my brother come in." I said, "Who's your brother?" He said, Johnny. I said, what? He said, man, listen, Johnny told me you got 2 more chairs. I'm coming and I'm bringing somebody. Here it is, 8 new people within a matter of a week.
Wow.
Now, this is the point. The people that I let come in my salon, they was the ones doing the celebrities.
Mm.
So I come in one day and I hear somebody talking and I look, it's Lisa Ray. Then next thing I know, it's her publicist. Then I'm starting to see all these people. But anyway,
Right, right.
that's a part of it. I got some long stories, but
So I want to bring it back to thinking about parents because I know you're right. We're raising a lot of kids. Um, what advice do you have for parents? Like some of them are, have challenges like making ends meet and supporting their kids. Do you have any advice for them? You have all these different businesses that you are able to create. What kind of advice do you have for them?
be careful what you say. That's what see the book is about using the power of words because
Okay.
because words have power.
Right.
E- Even if a person speaks something negative over someone, you know what I think about that?
Mm.
That's the negativeness in they self. Because if you see no evil, you speak none.
So I'm projecting that negativity on other people comes from me.
Yeah, no, but but see, the negativity is within the person that's saying it.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. If I'm saying it, I'm the one who's projecting that onto someone else. It comes from me. Yeah.
Yeah, because a person, watch this, you can see everything lovely. That's kind of hard to do because I always ask this one question. Whoever people believe in, do they believe the creator's in control of some things or all?
Mm.
What would you say?
All things.
Okay, then guess what? I give all the credit. I bump my head and say, oh, wow, what I need to pay attention to. Why? Because I give, if you ever watched it, I tell people this because family wise, the creator have a spiritual book for us, right? It's
Hmm.
24 hours in a day. All a person got to do is give 1 hour to their whole family.
Mm.
That's a lot of people missing that part.
So tell us, say that again. There's 24 hours in a day.
24 hours in a day. Get a creator 1 hour.
Okay.
And then you got 23 more hours. Don't wait for Sunday. Most people wait for Sunday, right?
Yes.
They don't even hardly do that no more, but or Saturday. But in that, they letting other people teach. They my queen. Let me say this: my children would go and teach the teachers, and the teacher would say, "Mr. Halliburton, what are you teaching your children?" I said, "I'm teaching them to teach."
Mm.
I said in Matthew, the 28th chapter, verse 19, it says, go and teach. Most people educate, but they don't know what the etymology of the word education means. Because I asked
Mm.
all, when I would go visit my children's teacher, I said, you're a teacher, right? How long you been teaching? And they'll tell me. I said, have you ever studied the etymology of the word education? Because that's what you're doing.
Mm.
Say, do you know what education means? What is the root of it? He said, no. I said, but I'm teaching my children to know. They'll say, can you help me out a little bit?
Yeah,
I,
let us know.
I, I say they have a word that's called educe. Educe. It means like in the Greek or whatever, educo, which means to draw out what is latent. In other words, the spirit is like this, and when you tapping it, it raises up perpendicular
Mm.
in the spirit,
It's
right?
already inside of people.
It's everything that we need to know is that all I'm doing, like in us communicating, and
Hmm.
the book, all this stuff we already know. We just reminding ourselves.
Okay. So
You
taking it back to the parents, you're saying be careful what they're saying. If they're like, I can't really make ends meet, I'm really we're struggling, rethink how they're talking about
oh,
things.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah. Be mindful of how you communicate. Even if a person see a child acting a certain way, you don't say that they're doing that. You say the opposite. Oh, look at you! You so fabulous. You genius. You see, I be animated with it. I like my grandson. Me and him have. I'm demonstrating to me what a parent could do.
mm,
It's like I don't let up on morality. I don't let up. I don't take it for granted every day, not some days. I don't take it.
okay.
So I'm saying that to say that if a parent, although they may have all these different distractions, just 1 hour and change the whole, don't have to holler with those 46 words. If they get them in a child's head, all they got to do is say righteous. And say, yes, just, upright, honest, straight. It just roll off. You won't
Mhm.
stop doing that. You don't have to put that kind of energy. Why not put the energy in something good? We wasn't
Okay.
taught. Were we taught that? Were we taught good?
Well, yeah,
Well,
not that way for sure. Not that way for sure. Not for me.
yeah, I was never. People told me be good, but they never sat me down and studied it.
Mm.
Okay. Anyway, go ahead. I get long winded because this.
No, this is wonderful. I really like hearing your perspectives about things. I think it's really good for parents, who are in, the process right now of raising their children, like to get some insight and some wisdom about, how to make it through, how to deal with times when it's challenging. So that's again why we have you on, and we're really glad to have you. Um, so where can you also were telling us about another resource that you have, your YouTube channel. Can you tell us about that?
Oh yeah, I have a YouTube channel where it's called Rolling Energy Wealth Meditation. Um, it deals with affirmations where
Hmm.
you have someone speaking that kind of guides you through the affirmations. Then you have the visual affirmations of wealth. Where you're seeing people own private jets, and luxurious vehicles, mansions, and all that. Getting the mind acclimated to wealth.
Okay.
And if we start young with the little ones, they're gonna learn. They're gonna learn anyway with the internet because people are becoming very successful on the internet, and it's children that's doing that. So
Yes.
I them doing it, but
Have you had experience with a child who really just is on the wrong track, or they really have maybe some encounters with the law or different issues like that? And if so, how, like, what advice do you have for parents, or how were you able to get them on track or something like that?
yes, I have encountered that. Um, it's just word power. See, it's kind of like when you're studying the nature of words.
Hmm.
You know how they say it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Right.
So when I see a child that's having a issue, it's not their fault. So I don't look at it like it's really them. I look at it like that's the program that they have because they
Mm.
see again. It's like the word good, I know that they never studied good, so why would I expect them to be good? I don't, most people would blame them.
Right.
But see, I already know that that they wasn't taught moral and ethics, just
Mm-hmm.
behavior. And then some people say, well, they came from a good home. It's a difference from saying stuff than studying stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Different. So I'm just saying, I just meet them where they at and don't judge because you don't have to. I look at it like that's what I was saying with the children. I look at them like they're all my children. So if they acting up, just picture this: a baby that comes out into the world is screaming and hollering. What do? You embrace it. You nurture.
Yes.
So I look at that child that's like that acting up. They just in a bigger body.
Yeah.
So I spiritually embrace them in love and then raise them up. And it works all the time.
Cool. That's really good to think about that way. No, I mean, it's great. It's good.
Yeah, you don't have, see, we've been programmed to be against, not for. So when you study the word for and you understand against, and when I say that, people can look at somebody and say, I'm against it, or I don't like this, what she got on, or I don't like, we've been programmed to be against everything.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So what I have taught myself is to be for. So I do for.
Yeah.
I appreciate you. And I would say for the parents, really take time out and make a conscious effort to give the child that 1 hour because it said train up a child in the way that they shall go and they won't depart. A lot of people didn't know how to train. They just, they just seen other people. They was looky-loos. And so and then when things start doing something different, whether the child is talking back or cussing them out and all that, thinking that they equal to them, it's because of the training. But I don't blame the parent. Why? Because the parent wasn't taught either. So I'm saying this to say, if they consider to make a conscious effort to really feed their child words, it'll change the whole vernacular of how the outcome be in terms of spiritually intellectual. They can do it as children. They don't have to wait till they get grown. Why? Because they're in their formative years, depending on where they at. But all of it is formative because we always learn. So I
Mm.
say as advice, just commit to that. Commit to it from day to day. Because if a person can take 7 and 8 and 9 and 10 and 12 hours to go and work for somebody and can't spend an hour for themselves and their children, something wrong with that picture. That's what I'm saying. It's a serious program
Mm-hmm.
that we got to change the vernacular of it. So when we change the vernacular, now we empower ourselves.
Great. So we again thank you for joining us, and thank you, audience, for joining us, tuning in. Hopefully you got these gems that are being dropped by Mr. Halliburton and really rethinking the mindset or how we approach some of our issues with our children and speak some positivity into them and really reframe these negative thoughts we might be having.